Hello, everybody. I know that my lighting isn't great, but this is just something that I thought I might go on and do a video on. So, I have recently been asked quite a few questions on my website in regards to how to fix motorcycles. So, I thought instead of directly responding to everybody on which I have anyway, to be fair, I am going to go through the questions with yourselves just so that you may be able to get the answers as well that you need. As I say, this is just an impromptu thing and I didn't really set it up great. But anyway, let's see. So, first it says, please help Yamasaki YM50, and this is by a Depin. So it says, hi, Chris. I imagine you get hundreds of emails to go through, especially on repairing Yamasakis, which I do. I get hundreds of emails every month in regards to helping. I try and help everybody, but I can't always because I do have a full-time job as well as doing this. So it says, I hope you have time to reply to some with some advice. First, do you have a garage yourself where I can book to have a look at my son's bike? Now, I don't currently have a garage. I work at Pure Triumph in Woburn as a workshop and parts supervisor. I did leave Yamasaki a little while ago. I needed a new challenge, so we won't go into that too much. So it says here, I have rushed into buying my son's first bike. Very genuine, honest, and me not knowing much about bikes, trusted him, who told me regular servicing by a garage. We looked after etc. After buying, turns out his 16-year-old son's buying the bikes, repairing them, and selling them on. You know how that goes. It looks like he's getting up to 25 miles an hour. Engine management lights coming on. The bike has been de-restricted, and what he's asking is, can I help him in repairing this bike? Now, as I said before, I don't currently have a garage of my own. I have a garage of my own, but it's not a commercial business. But I'm going to try and help out anyway. So, firstly, when buying a second-hand Yamasaki, there are a couple of things that you need to have a look at. Number one is make sure that the bike has in fact been serviced by a reputable dealer, and make sure that the book has been stamped and you have receipts of proof. The other thing you can do is, if the bike is of MOT age, you can have a look through the MOT certificates or go into the MOT.gov website and go through all the previous MOTs. Now, if the mileage is wrong or you can see all the fails on there, you'll be able to get a better understanding of exactly how the bike is doing. Now, with especially a 50cc motorcycle, you've got to make sure that the valves have been done. It's had a service every 4,000 miles because it's only holding 800 milliliters of oil. So you want to make sure that that oil gets changed regularly. Over time, the valve clearances will tighten up on that bike, and especially the exhaust one. So you do have to change those to 4,000th of an inch on the inlet, 4,000ths of an inch on the exhaust, and that will help it. Some of the things that you can look out for on that basis, if your bike is slowing down, if you are having problems starting it, and when the bike gets warm, if it is struggling and slowing down again as it gets warm, this usually is a sign that the valves haven't been done. Another thing to watch out for is the plug caps. They can actually arc out, especially in wet conditions. So if your bike starts low RPM and is absolutely fine, and then you get up to 3,000 RPM and you're finding that the plug caps is arcing, or you're getting struggling to run, issues or lack of power, you can also check that. So easy way to check it is get a screwdriver with a plastic handle, hold on to the plastic handle and touch the top of the spark cap, the top of the spark plug cap with the side of the screwdriver, and then the other side put fairly close to the engine, and you should be able to see a spark if it is actually arcing, or you can just have a look down the bore and see if it's sparking as well. Usually with that, you're going to have to take the side panels off. Another thing to do is check out how good the tires are. Now on a 50cc, you should be going through a lot of tires. You should be able to get a lot of miles out of those tires. If you're looking at like 1000cc motorcycle, you should be getting 10,000 miles out of those. On a 50cc, you should be getting significantly more than that, because of the way you're not running it up, you're not rubbing it on the road so much. You can't do wheelies or wheel spins on a 50cc, and you aren't going to be leaning over a massive amount. So yeah, look at the general condition of a bike. Generally, 50cc's are not very well looked after. So that is definitely another thing. If anybody has any questions, please comment down below and I will do my best to answer. I'm not expecting a massive amount of views on this one, but as I say, it is impromptu and I can answer anything you've got. So let's have a look next. Hi Chris, I have a Lexmoto Euro. Yeah, I believe it's an Aura. I saw your reviews on YouTube, which are great. I noticed that the star stated that the scooter had an engine called light on. I have the problem. What should I do before about this? Could it be a temperamental sensor? Need changing? Any advice? So on this one, the person has an Apollo 125 Euro 5 bike. They have a temperature sensor on and they're wondering what they need to do about it. Now, on these bikes, they are water cooled. No, they're not water cooled, actually, I don't think. I think the Apollo weren't water cooled. One of the later ones was. But anyway, let's go as if it is water cooled. So you've got several sensors on your bike. You've got the temperature sensor on your radiator. You've got a temperature sensor that controls the fan, and you've got a temperature sensor on the head and the exhaust. The exhaust one is called the O2 sensor, but essentially it is a temperature sensor also. Now, if you are getting a overheat warning and it is a water-cooled bike, a way that you can see if it is actually getting too hot is check if the fans are coming on, because they do have two different sensors on that. So the sensor on the temperature that shows on your gauge and gives the information to the ECU is a different sensor to what turns a fan on. The one that turns a fan on is just a resistor. As it gets hotter and hotter with the coolant, it opens a circuit and allows the fan to go around. Now, if your fans are going on and it runs for a minute or so and then goes off, that usually means that your temperature sensor is the problem. If the fan comes on and just keeps on whirring and whirring, then that is a bigger problem and you need to make sure that you've got fresh coolant, remembering that coolant generally nowadays only lasts for 3 years, so you will have to change it. I pretty much guarantee that 90% of people with a water-cooled 125cc will never change the coolant. So Mark Patrick Norris, hi Chris, off topic, do you still recommend the Lexmoto ZSB 125? Are there any issues or parts supply? The Lexmoto ZSB 125 is an older model now. It is a lower spec, lower cc motorcycle. You're looking at about 10.5 horsepower. What I would recommend with that is, if you are looking at buying one of those, obviously the price has got to be right. If it's a second-hand bike, that's one thing, but if you're looking at buying a brand new one, you can get a fairly decent water-cooled 125cc with about 14 and a half horsepower, for somewhere in the same sort of region of money. The as I say, the ZSB is an older model. The things like the Zontes U1, the some of the CF Motos, some of the Lex Moto, the newer models are really, really good. I think there is a I can't remember some of the new ones that I've been out of that industry for a little while, but yeah, there are definitely some nice water-cooled Lex Motos out there with a higher horsepower, and I would say cost-wise, they're not going to be that much better, but you not much more, but you are getting a lot more for your money. So hopefully that helped. If you do decide to go and get something else, give us a shout and we'll look into that. But in regards to, no problem. In regards to the temperature sensor, yeah, so change the temperature sensor if you need to, if the fan won't go off. Also, you can plug it into the OBD reader, go onto live data, and it will tell you exactly which sensor is giving you up which temperature reading. So if you go on there and the exhaust one's going to be slightly higher, but it shouldn't be over 160 degrees ish. The engine temperature sensor shouldn't really go over 110, and the coolant temperature on the radiator should really be somewhere around 103, and that's when the fan kicks in. So let's have a look, see. So somebody says on here that they're after an OBD reader for a Lex Moto scooter. Most OBD readers will work on all Chinese motorcycles. The only thing that you may have to do is get an adapter. The Yamasaki YM50 come with a Delphi 6-pin adapter. I do sell them on eBay, but you can also get them on Lex Moto as well. So let's have a look. So I've got another one on a Yamasaki YM50. Hi, I've changed my fuel pump on the bike because it wasn't starting. The pump wasn't priming. I fitted a new pump, Yamasaki website. The fuse for the pump is okay. Just need some advice. If you can thanks. The bike has full charge battery, turns over fine, but the pump just isn't working. Sadly, I imagine that's going to be an ECU issue. So for the way that they work is you turn on the ignition, the ECU will send a signal to a relay. The relay will turn the pump on, and the pump will start priming fuel. An easy way to check this one again is with an OBD reader with a 6-pin Delphi port. Plug in that, go into live data, and it should tell you how many psi the fuel pump is pushing at. It should be around 14 psi, and if it's not, is showing that there's an issue there. It could be with the relay. The relays are under the seat on that, I believe. There'll be 2 relays there. Oh no, so on the YM50 the relay is underneath the tank. For that one, the charging relay is behind the battery. So go on there, have a look at the relays. Yeah, one of the problems that Yamasaki are having at the minute is they haven't got much technical support. When I left, I don't think they replaced me. So a couple of places that you can ring up and try and get some information if needs be is probably somewhere like Speedway Motorcycles. They have been doing it for quite a long time, and the Yamasakis, I believe they've been selling them for about 4 years now. So they are a massive source of information if anybody needs it. Hopefully that has helped you, but I imagine the first point of call on that one would be to change the relay. Secondly would be to plug in an OBD reader and make sure that the ECU is getting the signal that it requires. Hello, anybody that's new. If you do have any questions on how to repair a Yamasaki or a 125cc motorcycle, please comment below. This is an impromptu Q&A. I've had some emails on my website asking for help, and I just thought I would do this. Rod. Hi, Chris. Long time no see. Just wanted to say hello from France. How's your Triumph life going? Triumph life is a hard life, especially in the setting that I am. They're having some changes at the minute that are a little bit hard to go through. Pace of work is very, very different. It's a lot of work, but I'm not doing the mechanical side of it. I am essentially the workshop manager and the parts manager at Triumph. Now, I will be doing a lot more videos on Triumphs soon. Triumph directly want me to do the videos on some of their bikes. I have been asked to do so. So we will be going into a lot more of them in the future. And yeah, so hopefully things are looking up. But thanks and hello. I am looking at doing more videos on other bikes. There's a company near us called the Bike Sanctuary, and they have offered to lend me whatever bikes I would like to ride. So I can still do reviews on those. And I'm leaving my website up. I'm answering all the questions on there. I am still trying to make a business out of riding reviews, but I do still have to feed my children. So we have to do what we have to do. But I'm almost to the 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I am 45,000 likes on TikTok, and I have 10,000 subscribers on Facebook. So I am helping. The thing with this, we had it before where at Yamasaki they have a very prim and proper, what should we put, social media guy who took over from myself, but it's a little bit different. I like to have the conversation with people. I like to interact, whereas that is more corporate, and they are trying to push that out a little bit more. So anyway, the Zontes ZT125. Hello, here at iPad. Yes, they are good. All of those Zontes range are really good. They were one of the first good Chinese motorcycles out there with the high performance engine. So that one comes in at 14.4 horsepower. It is water cooled, and they do have some quite nice features on there. Some of I believe the G1 doesn't, but the U1 comes with keyless entry, and they do have the high horsepower engine. Yes, I would say they are a definite good bike to do. If you are buying brand new, all well and good. If you are buying secondhand, again, service records are massively important. So make sure that you get them before you buy the bike, and also go onto the DVLA website, check the MOT status on the bikes, and make sure that the mileage is as it should be. So it goes up and there isn't a drop in the mileage at some point and then it goes up again, because that means that somebody's fiddled with the clocks. Hopefully that helps. Why I've got another one. Why do some mopeds look like sports bikes? Why not? People like sports bikes. Yamasaki, I haven't managed to see one yet, but the Yamasaki have released a 125 scooter-esque moped bike. So the dream was to make a bike like a Yamasaki YM50 sort of thing with a moped engine on the back. They have got one. I haven't seen it. I've seen the information on there. But yeah, I haven't seen it. To be fair, the Zontes. Yeah, so what's your favorite 125cc bikes? It would have to be the Zontes. I do like the Zontes U1. I think that is one of the best bikes out there in a minute. Lexmoto are probably fairly similar now. They have been bringing out some quite good 125cc's. Generally, quite a lot of them have the same sort of engines in them. I am not a massive Japanese 125cc lover. They make some awesome bikes, but they also have an awesome price. And that is the sort of stuff that we get conversations from because people don't like me saying that sort of thing. Another problem with my website is I keep on getting people trying to log on and put loads of rubbish on there. SEO. So I'm just looking through. Can't read that. That's wrong. E-commerce. Don't want to talk about that. So anyway, at the minute, that looks like all I've got. So if anybody has any more questions, please put them down there. Otherwise, I am going to do some video editing. So thank you for watching this video. I know it's probably not as scripted as it should be, but it was just an impromptu thing because I had some answers to give people on my website in regards to asking questions about motorcycles, and I decided to put it on here so anybody with any questions hopefully could get the answers from here. So anyway, thank you very much. I will just ask a couple more. So do you think Super Soco TC Max has aged well? Here in France, it is very difficult to sell them. I like that question. I got a Super Soco battery and they are 60 volt. I broke that thing, took it apart, put it down to 48 volt just so that I could use it in all of my other equipment. So it's interchangeable now. I can stick it in my little quad bike, 48 volts, my e-bike, and one of my silly mobility scooters as well. They all use the same battery. Answer to that is no, they didn't really age very well. All electric vehicles are not aging very well at the minute. Trump's messing everything up, and people have found that electric vehicles don't have some of the features that petrol vehicles do, and it's more apparent on a moped than it is on a car. So if you go to get one of those bikes, they have a range of 45 miles. States on the documentation that they have a range of more like 60 miles. But with all of these things, if somebody says that you've got a 60-mile range, cut 20-30% off of that, because that was always in best conditions, the lowest settings on the bike, and going in a straight line, probably on a specific road or specific test road for them. So you always have to cut off quite a lot of the mileage on those. If you are riding and you're getting low on power, especially on a bike like that without stage 2 charging, you are going to go to petrol station and you're going to want to charge it up, and you are going to find that you're going to have to stay there for 3 hours to get 30% charge on your vehicle. If you have a petrol, you go in there into the petrol station, you can fill up and get an additional 150-mile range straight away. Go 150 miles and fill up again. So yeah, I don't think electric vehicles are where they should be yet. There are some things coming down the pipeline at the minute, like a solid state battery that can charge to 100% in about 10 minutes. And as eventually there's probably going to be some hydrogen stuff out there. So hopefully that answered that question. So cheers, Chris. I see you the other day at the Bike Sanctuary in Milton Keynes. Yeah, I did pop down there on my Kawasaki. I love that Kawasaki. It's still running fine. Yeah, just if you see me, I'm a normal guy. Nothing special. Just talk to me. Come and have a conversation. I won't bite. I might bite. Cheers, Chris. I'll see you the other day at the Bike Sanctuary in Milton Keynes. Cheers, Chris. I'll see you the other day. Copy and pasted that one. Have a good evening, Chris. So thank you for taking the time for good live interaction with us. No problem. Thank you very much for listening. I do babble on a little bit. Chris, you got a full UK license? Yes, I do. I have a full UK bike license. I have a full UK car license. I also have a forklift license. Many different forklift licenses. A scissor lift as well. Got one of them. I have a Yamasaki BWS. I need to service it. I was thinking of taking it to Halfords. I never knew that Halfords did motorcycle services. If you do go to any place to have a service as on all small capacity bikes, especially the older ones with the lower cc engines, please make sure that you get them to do the valve clearances. Valve clearances are massively important. Some of the signs that the valve clearances need doing is your bike is hard to start, your bike is slowing down. Originally, you might have got 60 miles an hour out of that bike, but now it is going 45, and it gets slower as it gets hotter. All these symptoms are signs that your valves will need doing. Eventually, if you don't do it, it will cut out completely. And if you force it, you will destroy your engine. My day job is a banksman and for a forklift driver. Cool. I worked at several. I worked at Wix for a couple of years. I worked at Carlsberg. I don't drink, so that place stank. Um, I've worked agency jobs as well. But it's one of those things. It's like the IT. I used to be a IT. I've got a Microsoft certifications. I was a Microsoft systems engineer, and I got all the qualifications. You go and try and get a job. They say, "Have you got any experience?" No, I've just got my qualifications. Okie dokie. So we can't employ you. You go to the next place. Have you got any experience? Yes, I do. Oh, but you haven't got the qualifications I need. It's exactly the same with forklift driving. You go in, I've just passed my test. Oh, we need someone with experience. And then you go in again, I've got the experience. Oh, we need somebody with reach capability. There you go. There is a Yamasaki. Okay, fair enough. Dealers in Poole, I will probably take it there. Thanks for the advice. No problem. They are. When I was there, they were there as well. The Bike Sanctuary did in Milton Keynes did go and start. I get my words out in a minute. The Bike Sanctuary did decide that they wanted to sell the Yamasaki YM50 for a short while. I don't know exactly the ins and outs why they stopped, but they did actually stop. So there you go. Do you know if a Ducati Desmo service can be done at home by a normal person? Anybody servicing their bike is probably not a normal person, but there you go. I will have a look. I don't actually know. With most, so something that I learned at Triumph, all their bikes can be serviced at home. The issue that you got is you cannot do any of the diagnostics, you cannot do any of the system updates, but the actual service itself can be done at home. So hopefully that helps. I would imagine that is exactly the same. You will be able to do your service yourself. You won't be able to turn off the service light. You have to take that into them, and you won't be able to do any updates. But if you do take a bike in to get the service light reset, it's going to cost you a lot less than servicing your bike. Our Keyway Superlight 125 is a good alternative all-round bike. Can you get it under 2,000? To be fair, I wouldn't bother with a Keyway Superlight. It is a very dated bike. It hasn't changed in 14 years other than the EFI system. It is a very underpowered bike. It looks quite nice, but I would go for one of the Zonti's new V-twins. It's going to be a bit more expensive, but you are going to get what you pay for. As I say, the Keyway Superlight is an old bike. The Keyway K-Light is a little bit newer, but it's still an underpowered bike. You want to try and find something with 14.8 horsepower so that you can get to the maximum amount of power you can legally use on a 125. Nice. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to name the company or social media, but never mind. We have to chain off 3 aisles. Oh, I know who you work for. I'm not going to say it because you said you can't, but I'm pretty sure I know who you work for. I have, yeah. Uh, Everybody probably knows where you work for because that is the only place that I've ever seen that actually block off the aisles while customers are still allowed in the building. So yeah, we won't go any more into that, but I think I'm probably right on that one. So anyway, this went on for a lot longer than I thought. I've been on here babbling on at you guys for half an hour now. No problem. So I am going to leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've got the information you require. I don't know if anybody else is going to listen to this, but once in a while I like to babble on a little bit. So if you do want a Triumph, I work at Pure Triumph in Woburn and we can sort you out with something like that. But if you want any information on 125cc's and 50cc motorcycles, also go to www.ridingreviews.co.uk and have a look there and ask questions. I will answer back. If I get enough comments on my website, I will probably do one of these again. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it. They're not as polished as they probably should be. But you know what? I went round a lot of people at Christmas and tried to find for my Christmas present somebody who would teach me how to interact with people a little bit better. One of these acting classes or something like that. There isn't any out there. So my acting is about as good as it's going to get. Hopefully, it's not too bad. I will be doing new videos soon. I will be in contact with the Bike Sanctuary to get some more 125cc's. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get hold of many YM50s. They're, yeah, we'll leave it at that. But other bikes I'll be able to get to. Zontes have said quite often that they want me to have some of their bikes to do videos on, but it's never actually come to fruition. And I'll get in contact with Lex Moto. They may want me to come to one of their social media events, but that's not really the sort of thing that I want to do. I want to have a bike to be able to check it, use it, and send it out. All the YM50s and back when Yamasaki was cheapbikesrus, I used to test ride their bikes all the time, so I had a good understanding of the bike. Now that things have changed a little bit, I would rather have a bike for a week so that I can test ride it and check over it and make sure there's no issues before stating anything to you guys. But I am the main test rider at Pure Triumph in Woburn, so I can do many test rides and videos on them. When things have quietened down a little bit, it's a bit up in the air in a minute, but we'll go from there. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you very much for watching. Any other questions, please get in contact. As always, ride safe. Now, how do you stop? There you go.